Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to create a gradient mesh on a more complex shape like this one. I would like my mesh lines to follow the profile of this shape. If I use the simple method by going to Object and selecting the Create Gradient Mesh option, I will end up with this. Controlling and coloring of such gradient mesh is out of the question, unless you want to go for this kind of effect. I would like to create a gradient mesh that will look like this. To obtain a well-controlled gradient mesh of a complex shape, it is necessary that you create it by transforming a rectangular mesh. First, let's select this layer and create a new layer. Next, change the fill to light blue, select the rectangle tool, and let's draw a long and narrow rectangle, about the width of this green shape. Now we'll change this blue shape into a gradient mesh object. Press the letter U for the mesh tool, hover over this rectangle, and let's add 3 vertical mesh lines. Next, we will transform this rectangular gradient mesh using the transformation and selection tools. Select the lasso tool or press the letter Q on your keyboard. And let's select all these points. Now switch to the direct selection tool, click on this point, hold, and move it over here. Now press the letter R for the rotate tool, and holding down the Alt key, click on this anchor point to set the rotation point. Type 90 for the angle and click OK. Now, using the direct selection tool, we will overlay the mesh on top of the green shape profile. You should be very familiar with using the pen tool and how to manipulate the Bezier handles. Next, let's zoom in and adjust the curves. Now, when I move down here and want to work on this corner, it is really difficult to see through. And this is where the outline mode comes in handy. There is a few ways to get to the outline mode. You can double-click on your layer and deselect the preview box. Now this layer is not visible, but you can still see the layer below, and that's what you want. Let's go back and turn the preview on. Double-click on this layer again and check the preview box. There is a much faster way to toggle the visibility of the preview mode. Just hold down the Control key and click on this eye icon. And now it will be much easier to see what we are doing. Let's move this anchor point to this corner and let's straighten the Bezier handles. You want to position those two opposite handles so they are pointing directly towards one another. This might take a long time, but you should be as precise as possible to achieve the best results. If you want to adjust just one handle at a time, switch to the Convert Anchor Point tool. And let's make a few more adjustments. And here is our basic gradient mesh. Now we will need to add more mesh lines. Let's turn on the preview mode. Then select the object and press the letter U for the mesh tool. Now click in the middle of this line to add another mesh line. You can notice how this new mesh line follows the curves of this shape. And this is what we want. Let's add 2 more mesh lines, one here and one here. You can see the difference when I compare these mesh lines with the ones we had at the beginning. And now you are ready to colorize this mesh object. Go to the lasso tool And let's select all the mesh points on this second line. And apply a different color. Now select all the points on this line and apply the same color. And you can change the other points also. Just experiment with it. Next we'll apply the same dark color to these endpoints. Before you do that, let's add 2 extra mesh lines, one on top and one on the bottom. And using the eyedropper tool, let's apply the same dark color to the edge points. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.